Some defeats hurt for a few days, but some defeats stay with a nation forever. For Brazil, every FIFA World Cup begins with one expectation: win. It all, nothing less, not a quarterfinal, not a semifinal, not a brave performance. Only one thing matters: lifting the trophy. And whenever Brazil falls short, the questions begin. The headlines explode, the fans point fingers, the critics come out in full force, and once again, one name found itself at the center of the storm: Neymar. For years, he carried the hopes of one of football's greatest nations. Every time he stepped onto the pitch, millions believed he could produce another magical moment: a stunning dribble, a game-changing pass, a goal that would bring Brazil one step closer to World Cup glory. But football has never been a one-man game, and sometimes, even the most gifted players can't change the outcome alone. So what really happened? Did Neymar fail to deliver when Brazil needed him most? Did tactical decisions hold the team back? Were the opponents simply better on the day? Or does the answer lie much deeper than one player or one match? Today we're cutting through the hot takes, the social media debates, and the emotional reactions to examine what really went wrong for Brazil and why Neymar's World Cup journey became one of the tournament's biggest talking points. This isn't about blaming one player, it's about understanding the pressure, the expectations, the tactics, and the moments that shaped Brazil's campaign. Because the biggest stories in football aren't always about the winners, sometimes they're about the dreams that slipped away. So stay with us until the very end, because the truth behind Neymar's World Cup story is far more complicated than the headlines make it seem. When Brazil falls short at a World Cup, many people immediately search for one person to blame. And because Neymar has been the face of Brazilian football for years, the spotlight naturally falls on him. But football has never been that simple. No player wins a World Cup alone, and no player loses one alone. Yet the expectations placed on Neymar were unlike those placed on almost any other footballer of his generation. For years, fans looked at him and saw the next great Brazilian superstar, the player who would follow legends like Pelé, Romário, Ronaldo Nazário, Ronaldinho, and Kaká by leading Brazil to another World Cup title. That's an incredible burden for any player. Every touch was analyzed, every missed chance became a headline, to every defeat became a national conversation. And when Brazil's World Cup journey ended, many people rushed to one conclusion: Neymar wasn't enough. But is that really the whole story? Let's dig deeper. Modern football is about collective performance. You can have world-class attackers, but if the midfield struggles to control possession or the defense makes costly mistakes, even the most talented forward will find it difficult to change the outcome. Neymar's role has always been to create, connect play, and provide moments of inspiration. That doesn't mean he can control every aspect of a match. Opponents prepare specifically to limit players of his quality. Extra defenders close him down, passing lanes disappear, space becomes harder to find. That's the reality of international football. The better the player, the more attention he receives. Presenting Brazil is unlike representing almost any other national team. Brazil's football history is filled with iconic moments and legendary players. That history creates immense expectations. For many supporters, anything short of winning the World Cup feels like disappointment. As the team's biggest star, Neymar inevitably carries much of that emotional weight. Every tournament becomes more than a competition. It becomes a test of legacy. At the World Cup, teams don't just play against talent. They prepare meticulously for specific opponents. Coaches analyze tendencies, preferred movements, and passing patterns. When facing Brazil, one of the first priorities is often reducing Neymar's influence. That can mean assigning multiple defenders to him, limiting space between the lines, or forcing play toward less dangerous areas. Even the most creative players find it difficult when opponents consistently deny them time and space. World Cup football often turns on small moments: a missed opportunity, a deflection, a save, a counterattack. Margins are incredibly fine. Sometimes the difference between progressing and going home is only one decisive action. Because of that, narratives can change quickly. One successful attack can create heroes. One missed chance can create criticism. That's why judging an entire tournament by a single moment rarely tells the complete story. The pressure surrounding global tournaments extends beyond the 90 minutes. Players deal with constant media attention, public expectations, and intense scrutiny. Every performance is discussed across television, newspapers, and social media. That environment can amplify every success and every setback. Elite athletes learn to manage those demands, but the attention remains significant throughout the tournament. Rather than asking only why Neymar couldn't change everything, it's worth asking broader questions. How did Brazil perform as a team? How effectively did they adapt during difficult moments? How well did they create chances collectively? How did their opponents execute their own game plan? These questions provide a more balanced understanding than focusing on one individual. Football is ultimately a team sport. Success and disappointment are shared across the squad, regardless of differing opinions. Neymar's international career has been defined by extraordinary expectations and memorable performances. He has inspired countless young footballers with his creativity, confidence, and technical ability. At the same time, his career illustrates how demanding international football can be, even exceptional. Players cannot guarantee trophies. Sometimes the game rewards you, sometimes it doesn't. That's part of what makes football so compelling. Years from now, fans will continue debating Neymar's place in football history. Some will focus on his technical brilliance, others will focus on team achievements. Those discussions are part of the sport, but one thing remains clear. Whenever Neymar stepped onto the pitch wearing Brazil's colors, he carried enormous responsibility and the hopes of millions of supporters. So, did Neymar fail Brazil? Not so fast. Football doesn't crown heroes or create heartbreak because of one player alone. Every World Cup is decided by moments, teamwork, tactics, and razor-thin margins. But one thing is undeniable. When Brazil's dream ended, the spotlight landed on Neymar. Some fans will say he should have done more. Others will argue he carried impossible expectations. The debate will continue for years. Love him or criticize him, Neymar remains one of the most electrifying players of his generation. When the ball was at his feet, millions believed something extraordinary could happen. And that's a legacy statistics alone can't measure. Now it's your turn. Was Neymar unfairly blamed? Or should football's biggest stars be judged by World Cup trophies? Drop your opinion in the comments, smash that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, and subscribe for more explosive football stories, deep analysis, and the biggest debates from the world of football. Because in football, legends aren't remembered only for the trophies they lift, they're remembered for the moments that made the whole world stop and watch.